Raven fans, Oriole fans. So this is Charles here with Ravorisports. All right, we're on camera. All right, so thank you very much for joining us this week to our weekly Ravery Sport. Now, this is called the Ravery Sports Podcast, the Baltimore Podcast. Okay, so we'll be branding that soon on the website as well. All of our social media platforms, which are YouTube for our podcast format here, Facebook, which will also be airing the podcast, LinkedIn for our business inquiries, Instagram, Twitter, a lot of our social media, a lot of our tweets, a lot of Ravens news, Orioles news. We go ahead and place on there as well. And TikTok, our shorts. There we go. I'm finally starting to get the hang of all of these podcasts. Oh man, making the heads look good. Gotta look good because you're on camera. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us this week for our weekly Ravery Sports podcast, the Baltimore Sports Podcast. Okay, fans like me is what we call this, Ravery Sports. We're going to be, when we do our own merchandise, next thing coming, I'm going to start working on. So definitely we're going to have that. That is our tagline, fans like me. Basically what that's for is fans like me, more or less. So fans that don't live maybe in the area anymore, don't live in Baltimore anymore, but are big fans of the Ravens and the Orioles. So maybe you're not maybe sometimes nowadays you have a lot of people that become fans because of one guy. I know there's a lot of fans of the Ravens that are just Ray Lewis guys. Now you got fans that are just Lamar guys, and Oriole fans just because of Cal Ripken, or now you're going to see Adley. So you're going to see those guys that are fans. So fans like me. So fans don't necessarily live in the area. We love all the Baltimore people that grew up there. I grew up there, obviously, and a lot of fans. So, but it's for fans like me. Anybody that is a Ravens or Orioles fan here is welcome. All right, and we also cover other Baltimore sports, particularly the Terps and the Terps football and basketball. We might at some point. We've done City Poly game. We did the Army Navy game. There'll be some other things that there's noteworthy, like Coppin State basketball or Terps lacrosse or other things. If it's noteworthy enough. But basically, those will be mostly Ravens content, Orioles content, and there'll be some Maryland Terps content as well. For the most part, that's what you'll see. All right, so got that out the way at the bottom of the screen. That's the email address, ravorisports@gmail.com. Genesis Notary Services, that's my notary business. We're going to be doing that if you live in the Shenandoah Valley area. We'll come out. Mobile notary will come out if you're looking for any type of notarizing of documents. We will square that away for you. Also, too, if you are looking for any wedding efficient, soon we'll let you know. We're going to be adding loan signings. So if you are looking to close on house and you look for notary services there, we will be happy to take care of that for you. Happy to do it. All right. So, and the day, Sunday now, February 12th, we're going to live stream and we're going to be showing a lot of our products here that we have. What do I do with the product? Bear with me a second, but I'm going to be showing it on camera here. The products and services that we have, a couple of the shirts, hats, jerseys that we do have here. And we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. 1 second, let me go ahead and grab that. All righty. There we go. So we're getting them on camera. This here is in the shot. This jersey, this sweatshirt, Orioles sweatshirt, is going to be on the site. It is available right now, and the site opens on Sunday. Like that is more for a child there. I'm like a $180. I can wear it. Keep that in mind, maybe. But if you have a son, daughter, something like that, it's a bit of a slim. This is for our big guys here. Like me, if you're back in the 90s, like we used to wear everything real big, you're still in that. But this is like an XL shirt there that you can wear as well. So definitely that's available on the site as well. So a lot of Orioles and Ravens products, not just the jerseys, but hats, sweatshirts, shirts like that. A lot of stuff is going to be available on the website. Sunday, a lot of our stream is going to be dedicated to that. Invited people to the website, actually giving out the address so where people can see it, find it, etc. Very excited. Big days here. Sunday, we're going to have a Super Bowl, and we're going to have the opening of our website. All right. Let's talk NFL. So Ravens now in the off season, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Ravens as far as what they're going to do in free agency. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. So there's a lot of information here we're going to go over. Ravens are looking at free agents. Free agency hasn't quite started yet. It's going to start in early February. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what the Ravens would be looking at. Okay. And we're going to do something I haven't seen. We're going to talk about the direction they're not going as well. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that for you right now. Free agent targets for the Ravens. Okay. So what are the Ravens going to do in free agency? What are the Ravens free agents looking at? Let's tell you what they're not going to do. Okay. Because I think that's important too. Like for you Ravens fans, Oriole fans that are watching this. What are the Ravens targeting and what are they going to not target? So positions, I think they're not going to do anything. They're not going to spend money on. Special teams, I think, is as solid as any group in the league. Kicker, punter, long snapper, even the punt returner, Devin Duvernay. I don't think they're going to do anything there. They just drafted Jordan Stout. They're as strong as any team in the league here. Project Pat went to the Super Bowl. Pro Bowl again. I don't know what they were doing with Ben Mason. I don't know whether they thought they were going to leave him or lose him or whatever it was, but I think Project Pat is pretty solidified there. So I don't think he'll be seeing any fullback at this point. Tackle, both spots. Purposely put that. I think both spots are pretty solidified. Ronnie Stanley looks like Ronnie Stanley that we've seen for the most part. And Morgan Moses, I think, has been so underrated in the league for a long time. He's been solid for many years as a right tackle. So our team is lucky to have him. I think behind him, Daniel Falele has a lot of potential. And you got their Super Six-man, Patrick McCarry. So I think they're good there. Tackle, I don't think you'll see anything there. All of those guys are signed. Linderbaum, 2023 might be his coming out party as the best center in the NFL. He's really good. If he's going to get better from there, I mean, I think absolutely he could put him in the top 5 in the league as centers. He's outstanding. Tight end, you got about tons of them. So I don't think you'll see any tight ends. The only question is, are they going to bring back Josh Oliver, or are we going to see more Charlie Kolar? That's the question. I think Kolar will for sure be on the team, but really almost a redshirt year for him. Didn't play much because of injury. And then when I think he was healthy enough to play, frankly, I think they had so many guys ahead of him. I think with Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Josh Oliver that they just, he just didn't get a chance to play much. Don't think they're going to be doing anything there. You won't see any significant dollars at all, those positions at all. You'll hardly even see training camp. I mean, those guys, pretty much almost those positions are set. Here are to positions possibly targeted. Okay, so probably not a big dollar signing here, but probably depth signings or possibly there may be some movement with these guys. So defensive end tackle is one. A lot of that depends on Calais and what he decides to do. If Calais goes ahead and retire, which I'm not sure he will, I have no idea. I think you might see a veteran here that they may go ahead and sign a veteran guy with Calais. Michael Pierce contract again. Maybe he again injured, didn't play much. Do they want to continue with Michael Pierce there as well? Maybe get some depth there. Here's a fact, though. Let's say you lose Pierce and you decide to move on from Pierce and Calais. I think they're pretty good here. I like Broderick Washington. I like Travis Jones. I like Justin Matabuke. I like those guys. So if they lined up with that, I think that's good. But let's say you do that, you may need a veteran guy to supplant that. Brent Urban is a hardball guy. So it could be a free agent signing there. I think they're also very good at drafting this. So we'll see. Inside linebacker, I don't know about Patrick Queen's spot on the team. And this is just speculation, but I think another team may be interested in him. And they spent $20 million on Roquan Smith. So I think that's the thing. Like, if you have spent that type of money, maybe you want to save a few dollars here and maybe get like a lesser free agent. They haven't had a lot of luck, but maybe they get a free agent here as well, like a lower cost, maybe a veteran guy or something, or a young guy to go with Roquan. I don't know if you spend a ton of money though. I don't think they spend a ton of money. Safety. We don't know what's going to happen with Chuck Clark. We don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Hamilton. I think the safety and cornerback is kind of intertwined here in this sense. If you move Kyle Hamilton to Chuck Clark's spot, who's the nickel corner? Do they even want to do that? That's a question. Do they want to maybe even, stranger to say, maybe give Kyle Hamilton a shot outside? See, that's not off the table. Seeing how they do at corner, that's it. Safety also, too, they always like veteran guys here. Geno Stone, restricted. So, yeah, I think some money might go to the safety spot. Running back. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about they may be at some of these running back biddings. I saw a rumor about Saquon Barkley, and I'm not convinced of that. I don't know how sold they are on the running backs long term. I predict they'll probably stay with what they have. I think if there's any change here, it'll probably be the draft, but it's here. It wouldn't completely shock me, though, if it was Saquon Barkley, especially, or maybe Tony Pollard, if they really, really felt like they had a great upgrade. Possibly. I don't think so, but it's possible. That's why I put possibility here. Quarterback, I think, is even less possible. But it's here because Lamar's not signed. I mean, that's just fact. So Lamar's on the franchise tag. We don't know how he's going to react to that. Tyler Huntley's also a restricted free agent. Tyler Huntley is in the Pro Bowl. Maybe there's more interest in Tyler than we think. So maybe you need a backup. So you don't know. I believe it'll be those two in 2023, but you never know. So that's a little possible. A lot of these positions, it depends on what happens ahead of them. Okay? So here we go. We're going to focus basically on what you do need, for sure. Edge rush. A lot of these names, frankly, aren't names that we get excited about. Looking at the list, I mean, I even looked at 10. Not a lot here. I didn't include Ravens on these lists, by the way. I didn't like some of these Ravens would be in the top, but I didn't include like a Justin Houston, per se. Marcus Davenport, the number one free agent right now at the end, really edge rush nowadays. So he is a free agent for New Orleans. We'll see how that goes with the New Orleans Saints. With him out there, Yanni Ngakoue. Ravens have had him here. He had 9.5 sacks with the Colts. Jadeveon Clowney has a very interesting one. He's for sure not going back to Cleveland. He come out and trashed the team and got all upset. So he's for sure not going back there. Brandon Graham. veteran from the Philadelphia Eagles there as well. Good season. He's had a good career. Kind of very under the radar, kind of like Justin Houston in a sense. He's been good for many years, but gets very little press. For a good pass rusher like he's been, I think that's a little bit surprising on a good defense. He's back in the Super Bowl again this year with Philly. Robert Quinn, a little disappointing in Philly. I think most of it, frankly, is the fact that how good they are ahead of them. There's a lot of good players in Philly there. A lot of these guys are targets, things like that. Also, JPP might have been on this list. Justin Houston might have been on this list. The Ravens historically don't like spending money outside on edge rush. They do need edge rushers. I predict, this is speculation, just prediction, it probably looks a lot like it did this year. I'm thinking they're hoping they can get some more development out of Dafiowe and David Ojabo, and hoping that those two guys are going to start. You might see Justin Houston back. You might see JPP back, depending on what the market bears. Or I think one of these guys could be if these guys are gone, which could happen too. I think like Justin Houston will have a market. It'd be harder to sign. I think like he had 9.5 sacks. I think somebody out there is. I don't think he's going to be hanging around until July this year. You may have to go with one of these guys or a guy like that. So edge rush, I think, is definitely a position they will definitely look at. But I don't think it's the number one thing. I think this is 3. This is 2. Cornerback. I think the top 2 needs, the top 2 targeted positions, you need it bad. This one, I think you could almost argue this is because I think you might need 2 guys. Jamel Dean, really good cornerback with the Bucks. Really good defense there. James Bradbury, kind of higher on the list this year. Kind of was out there with the Giants last year. Maybe would have. Now he's on the Eagles. Kind of signed a when he proved a deal. And man, the Eagles defense has been good with him. From the Squealers, you got Cam Sutton. Steelers defense was up and down. I thought this is a solid enough signing. I think it's going to be expensive. Those top 3 guys are going to be very, very expensive. Patrick Peterson is going to be there, out there. The Patrick Peterson, yes, the same one that was there for years in Arizona, who was so good. He had 5 interceptions, I think, this season for Minnesota. Jonathan Jones. This guy, I think, is going to be available. I think this actually is more reality for the Ravens. I think he kind of was going to go under the radar a bit. Quarterbacks are generally overpaid, but this might be a good signing for somebody. I always liked him, Jonathan Jones. I think he's pretty good. New England has a good history of getting quarterbacks. What I think happens at corner is they're going to have to sign a veteran. They're not going to be able to fix this in the draft. I don't think Peters comes back. And I think they're going to have to sign a veteran, at least one. Kyle Fuller, I didn't put him. I don't know if they're going to try and do that. It'll be a guy like that. These guys, I think, of all the names, I think Jonathan Jones is a name that I think Raven fans want to keep their eye on. I think that's definitely a guy. I don't think he'll get huge dollars or a huge signing. And I think the Ravens will obviously look at him to go ahead and get squared away at corner. They're going to maybe need 2 guys. You maybe need a nickel guy and you need an outside guy to go with Humphrey. I think a trade route here also, I think, is possible. Jalen Ramsey's name was out there. They may go a veteran route and go trade here. Eric DeCosta likes to trade. I think, though, of all the positions, these 2, they're going to have to sign a veteran, regardless of even what you do in the draft. Unless you get 3 corners or something in the draft, and I don't think they have enough picks to do that. So they're going to have to sign a veteran guy. Same at this spot, the wide receiver, obviously. This is a very weak wide receiver element here. So the Ravens, and this is kind of my concern, with the Ravens, you finally wake up to the fact, well, hey, now we need to go ahead and sign a wide receiver. And now you got a weak class. Now you don't have a guy out here maybe that can help you the way you want. Juju Smith-Schuster, the number one receiver out here. He is exhibit A of why a receiver doesn't want to sign with the Ravens like in previous years. Because you will sign a one-year prove-it deal. You want to go to a team where you get yards, you're going to get catches, and that's exactly what he did. He had some injury issues, not a lot of injury. I want to go to a team where I can get the ball more, etc., showcase myself. That's exactly what happened in Kansas City. Now I think he's the number one receiver. I think he's the number one receiver. I absolutely do. I mean, the only thing, can you keep him healthy? He's been healthy all season. A little bit short of 1,000 yards. I'd like to have seen that. But other than that, I thought he was very good for Kansas City this year. Jacoby Myers, probably this is a guy that's going to be available. Again, New England kind of has the Ravens-like philosophy at these premium positions. If it gets too expensive, they have other guys there. I think he's definitely going to be available. Arguably, I don't know if he's a number one receiver on a lot of teams. He'd be the number one receiver on the Ravens for sure. He's make no mistake. This is an upgrade from what we have currently. If you're gonna spend money, I think though, I don't know if it becomes a Raven simply because of the costs. The Ravens generally don't overpay their guys this much here. One second. There we go. Get the light on there. Starting to get dark. Oh, so there you go. To Kobe Myers. I think he's a number 2 on the line. But I think the Ravens will. I think I don't know what this costs him. I think does somebody go pay him 14, 15, 16 million dollars? We'll see. Obviously, he's turning to get overpaid. Beckham. This is the most accomplished guy on the chart here. Odell Beckham, one of the most accomplished receivers here. Last with the Rams, though I put that, even though I know he's not with them anymore. That was the last time he played. Didn't play at all last year because of injury. 2 questions with him. How's the knee? I think it's the knee. I think he was out all last season. Didn't play because of that. And also had some issues in his career, attitude, etc. My concern with him is obviously the knee. I'm less concerned about that because he hasn't played a year. So I'm sure by September he should be good to go because he didn't play at all last year. The question is, could Harbaugh deal with a guy like this? He didn't have much use for Deshaun Jackson. And so this guy here coming in, you got a lot of young guys. How is this going to work? I don't know. Rumor is he got in some more trouble recently. We'll see. He is the most accomplished receiver on this list and in a lot of lists. 2 more guys I'm hearing this name a lot. Allen Lazard for the Ravens, for the Packers rather, last season. He was pretty much the number 1 receiver the first half of the year, and then it kind of went to Christian Watson and kind of went away from him. Aaron may want him back, but is Aaron going to be there? That's a question. Again, better than what we have right now. So Allen Lazard for the Packers. DJ Chark. I'm a little more mixed on him. A lot of people say he had a great year. Some people say no. I think this is, again, an upgrade. Frankly, an NFL starting receiver and a lot of upgrades on what you have now because the cover is completely bare almost. So I got no problem with this. I think it'll be less expensive to do. I think that's a sign. I think that's a more realistic thing that they look at the last 2 guys on the list, Allen Lazard and Charles. I don't think I'd be surprised if those 2 guys get a huge deal concerning the seasons they had in their career. I think they get something. I think the Ravens would be in the market for that. Couple names that's not on the list because they're not free agents. I hear a lot of Mike Evans, a lot of instability, and Chris Godwin. Tampa Bay might be transitioning here because Brady is retired now. There's no question about that. So might be some issues there. We're going to see how available he is and they are. And Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Michael Thomas is a name we're going to keep hearing a lot as well. New Orleans, I think he's definitely not going to be in New Orleans. But again, he hasn't played in so long. Chris Olave now going forward probably is going to be the number one receiver. Also to DeAndre Hopkins, the obvious one. Definitely they're looking to move him. They've said it. That's going to be expensive. I think of all the names, he's not a free agent. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be on the market for the Ravens. So that's definitely something the Ravens are absolutely going to look at going forward. I don't think they're going to sign DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be way too expensive. So there you go. Free agency is going to start. I love when free agency starts. So we're going to go ahead and go over that as well. And we are going to be covering the free agency of the NFL, what the Ravens are going to do, how much money they're going to have. They're going to have to do some restructuring. If you're going to pay Lamar $45 million because you can't get the deal done, and you don't have any free agents, you don't have any free agent money, you're going to have to do something. So we're going to see how that goes with the cap. We may have a longer conversation on that. We still do not have an offensive coordinator, the Ravens. They are still looking. This has been exhausting. This is almost kind of turning into more. They every day I'm seeing a video or something. Eric the Enemy, this guy, and it's been a lot. So they're taking their time, and that's good. And they're also, what they're doing is they are, as of this recording, and this is Wednesday that I'm recording this. So if it comes out tomorrow, whatever, it may come out any time now because we're not at Super Bowl. So they're taking their time, they're exhausting all resource, and they're looking at something different. That's what and I like that. The fact whenever you look at something different, sometimes it takes a little longer to do than any other time. So they're definitely looking at all the candidates and everything. So we will let you know. I have a standalone video when that happens. We have a football game this week. And on Sunday, we're going to talk about it more, but we're going to talk about it now. We're going to preview, the big game at the end. The Chefs, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Eagles going at State Farm in Arizona. So game's at 6:30 on Fox. It is the biggest show of the year. It is an unofficial national holiday. Parties everywhere for the Super Bowl, as there should be to celebrate the season. They're going to see Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I put him as the best quarterback of last year. Total 41 TDs, 12 interceptions. He's phenomenal. Only negative I have with him, he drives me nuts with this schoolyard stuff that he does. Just throwing it off the back foot, wrong foot, back behind, stuff like that drives me nuts. No other flaws in his game. Tough. Won the game on a bad wheel. Carried this offense. The offense has been just as efficient even without Tyreek Hill, who was awesome. So they've been fantastic all year long. Isaiah Pacheco, 830 yards and 5 TDs. So Chiefs have had a bit of a struggle. I think he's been the best one here. They may have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this game. We'll see how much it plays. I think this is Pacheco's job going forward. They kind of almost forget to run the ball. I kind of said that so many times, but a lot of teams I just see that with Kansas City, they just almost forget to run the ball. Andy Reid, architect of this, what you see the modern NFL, the head coach, first real team, those Eagle teams that he was coaching, that he coached rather, that really throw more than they ran. Pretty much the league was everybody ran more than they threw the ball. Now it's the opposite. Now everybody does. And that teams forget to run the ball. We don't need a running back. So this is their guy, Isaiah Pacheco. I saw an article like, is Travis Kelce a Hall of Famer? What? Is he the best ever? Oh, the numbers he's putting up are just insane. Travis Kelce, I think he's right in that conversation with Ozzie Newsome and Tony Gonzalez and those guys. I mean, absolutely, Travis Kelce. Is he a Hall of Famer? He doesn't need to play another down, and he's absolutely in the Hall of Fame. Generationally, easy to say. The generation that we're in, this is the best tight end. No question about it. Travis Kelce, he was phenomenal all season long. As much as Mahomes carries them on offense, I think Chris Jones carries them on defense. 15 and a half sacks. I think the only reason why he hasn't got more sacks is kind of like he's kind of a nose guard inside, 3-4. I think had he been placed outside, he did. This was, you see this every year for sure in his career. He's outstanding. He need two guys. I mean, you don't put two guys on Chris Jones, he wrecks you. Even if you put two guys on him, he wrecks you. So definitely that's the mark of a great player. I think he is easy their best player on the defense. Secondary, very young with Philly. With Kansas City. So keep that in mind as well on Sunday. Jalen Hurts, outstanding season. All you think about is how far he's come. Benched in the championship game for Tua Tagovailoa when he was at Alabama. Transferred, became a passing quarterback. Got drafted, became one of the best quarterback MVP season. This is the likely MVP, I think, of the league. Jalen Hurts, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Exactly what they needed in Philly. Controversial pick. They took it. Somebody saw something. It's absolutely worked. How much is he going to run? The only question, negative. Banged up a little bit at the end. Couldn't really tell in the championship game. They didn't need great defense. So we'll see how this goes on Sunday. Miles Sanders, underrated, great season. Over 1,200 yards, 11 TDs. I think the only reason it's not more is because Jalen Hurts runs so much. I think outstanding season by Miles Sanders. One of the better running backs in the league that's not talked about. Miles Sanders has been outstanding for them. A lot of good players on both sides because obviously they've gotten to this point. A.J. Brown, man, I wish he had signed. Come on, Ray. Wish he get a guy like A.J. Brown. Titans were crazy to get rid of this guy. 11 touchdowns, almost 1,500 yards receiving. He's a difference maker. So is the guy on the other side, Devontae Smith. Really benefits from having a guy like this. I've seen Devontae Smith so many times unguarded. A.J. Brown is a beast. I've seen him 50-50 balls, great separation. And it's a young secondary they're going to be playing too. So I expect them to have a big day. Hassan Reddick. This is an outstanding all-time group. The Eagles, front seven. Hassan Reddick, 16 sacks. He is really just cat quick. He must have 4.3 speed. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, usually you see like a DB or a wire. He's got that type of speed and strength, and it gets around. He has so fast that I think it's almost hurt his value because he's not a real big guy, but he's been outstanding. This whole Eagle front, I think, is the reason why. I highlighted before 11 sacks for I think 4 guys. They've been outstanding all season. I think they win this game. It's going to be hard to me I don't think anything stands up against this front seven of the Eagles. It's going to be very difficult for me to see the Chiefs. As great as Mahomes is, and as great as Chris Jones is, I think they're carrying these guys a lot, where the Eagles are more complete. Can Hurts stand up in a game like this? We'll see. Biggest game of the year. I mean, as good as he's been during the course of the year, this is now the Super Bowl. This is the biggest show of the year. A lot of people watch. This is how you'll be defined. So a lot of pressure. We'll see that. We know what Mahomes can do, and this This is not all, and that matters. Can he stand up in these type games? Can he stand up against that? Chris Jones, it's going to be tough. He's going to have to watch that. So keep that in mind. Great matchup on Sunday. This would be close. I like the Eagles, I think, by a field goal. Not a lot of strength with it because they're really good. The other team is really good as well. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and transition. Last night we had a game, and again, it was recording last night, so I don't know when you're watching this, but the Terps in Michigan State played. So we looked at that game at the Breslin Center. Michigan State 63-58 over the Terps. Definitely want to see how the Terps did in this against a team that's been so good for so many years. Starting now in college ball to see separation, starting to see teams that are who's at the top of the Big Ten. I think these two teams are definitely near the top of the Big Ten. They're better than a lot of these teams. I think there's a little cluster there. Everybody's behind Purdue, but I think Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana, all right there in that next tier. I think that's where the Terps are in this one. Came up a little short in this one. They have to come back again. On the road, they kind of don't start well on the road. Tyson Walker for the Spartans, 17 points. I thought he was good. This is they did exactly what I expected. This team shoots the three a lot, and that's what he did. Tyson Walker, I think, he had 17 points for them in this one. Good shooter, outside shooter, had a ball. It's one of this, again, like kind of use an NBA comparison, kind of like what you see with Deontay Murray. Like he's small, but he's a spot up guy. He's not a true point. He doesn't play like the true point. This guy is the true point. AJ got again. Swiss Army knife, 8 points. Every time I see him, he's got his head up. Very old school point guard. Like got his head up, and you can see it in the stat line. 8 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. That's exactly what you need. Better night than expected from this guy, Joey Hauser. Bit of a banger. He had 20 points. He was a leading scorer. Exactly pretty much what I expected from him. He kind of bangs on defense, and then on offense, he kind of like shoots the three a lot. And he had a good night. Terps really had trouble with that. I think the Terps were kind of not expecting him. I think I saw in the game a lot more attention to pay to Tyson, which it should have been. Which made a lot of sense to go ahead and pay them a lot of attention in this one. So Michigan State was really good. Jameer Young. Well, before I get to him, let's get to the rest of the cast. Keem Hart, Dante Scott, Julian Reese. This is kind of how it looks most of the year. Their points are very meat and potatoes like. Very I'll use old Terp Keith Booth like, if that makes it. They'll get 12 points. But then they got it because they dunked off a rebound, or they got a steal, or they don't really run a lot of offense for them. King Hart a little bit, but at guard, but they're meat and potatoes guys. They're a really good piece of meat and potatoes. They really played well, I thought, defensively in this game. All these guys, I thought they really hard. The second half again, better on defense. Again, but they didn't have enough offense to do to go ahead and get it done. Jameer Young, good enough night, 17 points, but again, he's not as good on the road. I've seen that all season with him. Home, he's all these games I think I've seen where him explode. They're usually home games. Tough road games like this, he's not quite as good. He's got to. They're so reliant on him. That's too bad that he's a senior, because I really would have liked to see him one more year get more help because they're really not helping him as much. Teams really key up on him, and that's kind of what happened there. But he had a good enough night. I wouldn't say it was a down night like I've seen a couple like on the road, but he's definitely better at home. When he's playing at home, it seems like. He's just more relaxed on the road. It kind of like presses more on the road. And that's typical of a lot of young players. They're on the road. They kind of press more, etc. I think, look, Terps are going to the tournament. Spartans are going to the tournament. They are very good teams, both of these teams. Top of the Big Ten. They're, I think, between 3 and 5-ish. 2 and 5-ish is about saying. Terps should go to the tournament. Let's see what they can do in the tournament. They're going to be relying on, can they get more offense? Defensively, I think they look good. I think they need to do it for 40 minutes, but they look good on defense. So should be encouraged enough as a Terp fan going forward. We're going to be going over some more games as we get into March Madness. Two of the best sports days of the year, I think, are the first 2 days of the tournament, the Thursday and the Friday. Games all day long. It's fantastic. All right. 2 things I want to go over. This is Ravery Sports, Raven fans, Oriole fans, but I would be remiss. My favorite basketball team ever since I was little has been the Lakers. And you got to admit, LeBron James breaks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scoring record. As a basketball fan, Kareem has always been my favorite player. When I was little, Kareem and the skyhook, there was nothing like him. It's good to see a Laker. I know some people don't consider LeBron a true Laker and all, but it's good to see a Laker get the all-time scoring record. LeBron has been the standard of the NBA for so many years. A great example of hard work, considering everything that he's accomplished, and now he's gonna take Kareem's place, as I think as a gentleman that's going to be a great representation of the league as the all-time leading scorer. I wish the Lakers were having a better season than what we've seen. He needs more help, obviously. That's a whole nother stream, but like you acknowledge greatness and commitment and everything that he's working. I mean, we just had Tom Brady retire. And these 2 guys just seem superhuman. I mean, like, to me, like, how is he still having 40-point games when he's 40 years old and all that? You know, we see Westbrook falling out, like, all these guys doesn't load manage, really. So shout out to LeBron being the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. So congratulations to LeBron and the entire Lakers organization. Very cool to see Kareem there. Shake his hand. Bullies of Baltimore documentary. Now, I admit I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely going to check it out this week. Great acknowledgement of the 2000 Ravens. In my lifetime, that was fantastic to have that, to see that, because one thing I missed when not living in Baltimore anymore was when the Ravens won the Super Bowl. I think it was 2013. 2012 season. I didn't live there anymore. Like, to be in the town when your team wins the Super Bowl. I was about 6 years old last time where it was won, and I was living there in Baltimore. And the town, just, you can't. That's a lifetime. That's a lifelong experience that you'll never have. And just I think about, like, I was getting on the number 3 bus going home from the Super Bowl party I was going to at the restaurant, and there was this guy I knew, very rarely, and on the bus. I didn't know him that well. As soon as we see each other, we just high five. Yes, that's what I think about when I think about this team. How exciting it was to win, and the way they win. This was defense. Maybe the greatest defense in NFL history. That group, several Hall of Famers. Several Hall of very good. I mean, I think Rod Woodson's Hall of Fame, Ray Lewis's Hall of Fame. I'm trying to think if anybody else is actually in the Hall. I don't think there's anybody else that's actually in the Hall from that team. But it was tremendous team to think about and go over. So I heard Charlie Saragusa is actually in it before he passed away. They actually shot that, so it's very Brian Billick. So definitely, I'm going to be checking it out this week. The Bullies of Baltimore on ESPN, talking about the great 2000 Ravens. Awesome. One more segment. So we have talked about the Orioles. So now we're going to look at, this is not predictions or anything like that, but the Orioles play in the American League East. And so I thought it'd be good to look at some of the other activity in American League East. We are going to have, as a week from this recording, pitchers and catchers reported. So we're going to start having spring training reports for the Orioles now that we're back in season here. And so let's take a look at the rest of the division, what they've done in the American League East. Now, I've highlighted some things: free agents, trade, and acquisitions, free agent trade departures, also to who is the best players on these teams, and also the manager, in case you didn't know. A lot of managerial stability in this division. Very good division that the Orioles are in. So we can definitely go over that. Chris Bassett signed with the Mets from the Blue Jays. Guy I think a lot of Orioles fans had to look at. Brandon Belt, long time San Francisco Giants player. A guy I like here, Kevin Kiermaier. He was the heart and soul for years of the once Longoria moved on. He was their backbone there in Tampa. So he's now signed with the Blue Jays. Controversial trade, Dalton Varsho. That trade, neither side was happy with it. They get a good player, but they gave up too much. Both sides kind of said that. So they're going to go ahead and sign with him. Great adding there that's going on. They lost Ross Stripling to the Giants, one of their starters from last year. Who's the best players they have? I think it's easy. Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, our old friend, Kevin Gausman, who's now become an ace now in 2 different cities, as we're still looking for pitching. Matt Chapman, really good, maybe down a little bit last year. Alex Manoah, great starter for them as well. Blue Jays won a lot of games last year. They're really good. They really built a good team. I think they came in second. I think they helped. They're slowly adding pitching and they're slowly adding pieces. You can say this about a lot of teams. I mean, this might be the best team in the division. If they were to be ahead of the Yankees, I don't think they are, but I could definitely see it. I mean, it definitely wouldn't shock me if the Blue Jays actually win. I don't think they'll fall too far from where they're currently at. I mean, barring a lot of injuries. So Blue Jays, I think, have been building and adding their team and spending some money along the way. They've been at this for a couple of years. Building themselves back up. Here are the inexplicable Tampa Bay former Devil Rays, now the Rays. Activity, not a lot. They did make one pitch signing, Zach Eflin from the Phillies. So that's a good signing. He was pretty good for Philly last year. So that's going to be an acquisition for him. Look, they don't mess around with starting pitching. They have one thing on their team, starting pitching. They have the biggest thing. I love that. Love the fact that they don't go into a seat like that in starting pitching. They lose a lot, no money, nobody goes. We have starting pitching. That's how we're going to win. So I like that strategy. Lost a lot of guys as they normally do. Corey Kluber, former Cy Young winner, went to the Red Sox. I think the heart and soul guy was Kevin Kiermaier. I think that's a loss for them. Mike Zeno, Dave Kingman type stats. And that means basically home runs and no average at all. He was like 190 or whatever. He's consistently. Ryan Yarborough, starting pitcher, went along with Nick Anderson to the Braves. Randy Ozuna, one of their best players, I think. Wander Franco, waiting for him to come around. He's paid him a lot of money to go ahead and go forward. Tremendous prospect that might break out for him. Yandy Diaz is their third baseman. Those are the guys that are going to help them. I think they have an ace. They have a closer. They find a way. On paper here, there's no way they should be beating the Yankees or the Blue Jays. But they always have a way. I think they have an outstanding manager, Kevin Cash. I think he's the second longest tenured now behind Terry Francona there. So they've had two really good managers as well. They had Joe Mad before this, who was outstanding, and they have Kevin Cash. So good for them. This is a good team. They have a formula and they work it. That's they. This is kind of like what I kind of like to see the Orioles do, like be more like I think a lot of the small market teams, this is kind of your hero here, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Red Sox. Okay, so where are they going? Up or down? We don't know. They signed Yoshida from Japan, so they posted him. These Japanese guys, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They spend a lot of money. They think it'll work. They signed Kenley Jansen. I think he's got a lot left in tank. This is a good signing. He's getting older now, but he was very good last year, I thought, for the Braves. Justin Turner, pretty much I think he's going to replace J.D. Martinez for them at DH. He may play some third base. Chris Martin, I think, signed with the Dodgers, a relief pitcher. They did get Corey Kluber. So how much does he have left in the tank? I think he might be one of their best pitchers at the start. Adam Duvall from the Braves. He played more than what people thought Adam Duvall really had to step in. They had a glut of outfielders in Atlanta, so I think that's why he's not there anymore. I think the funeral is still going on for Bogaerts in Boston. You talk about the Rays losing their heart soul guy. This is their guy of the future, Xander Bogaerts. Their heart and soul guy. Every time I talk to a Red Sox fan about this, they're still crying. It just got too expensive. That was a lot of money he got in San Diego. So I understand it. JD Martinez was another guy. They're not sad about this, but this was a guy that was very valuable for them for years. He was their DH. He went to the Dodgers. They as bad as they were supposed to be, they had a very good middle of the order there. That's gone now, a lot of them. So Bogaerts and Martinez, that's big losses. Eovaldi signed with the Giants. Another loss. Eric Hosmer signs with the Cubs. Tommy Pham signed with the Mets. Trevor Story, he's on here. They're probably not going to have him all year with the injury. So we'll see. But yeah, that's another hole that they have to fill. So like you let Bogaerts go, thinking maybe you have Trevor Story there, and then he's not going to play at all this year. So that's kind of on the radar. Who's their best player? Rafael Devers. Man, they were. I would only imagine if they couldn't sign the extension to Devers that they did. So he got like a Bogaerts, like I said. He is their best player now. He's going to have to. They're going to go as he goes. There. Alex Verdugo, they're still waiting for him to come around a bit, but I think he's one of the top guys. And Chris Sale, I'm going to still put there because a good Chris Sale, we're having a different conversation altogether about the Red Sox. So good season. I hope that he has for their sakes. Alex Cora, one of the cheaters from the from the Astros, is the manager. Yankees. I almost didn't put them in the elite category when I did the MLB series videos. I think everything that needed to happen for them to be elite did happen. Carlos Rodon signed for the Chargers. They need to sign an ace. But as good as their pitching is, they went ahead and did that. They got, I think, the top pitcher on the market for years to come. I think you can have 4 or 5 years of him as an ace there. Thomas Kelly of the Dodgers is a reliever as well there. They did lose a bunch of guys. Andrew Benintendi, a bit of an outfield gut. Jameson Talon, one of the good starters. Matt Carpenter signed with the Padres, generation guy. Chad Green went ahead, signed with the Blue Jays, good reliever for them. Aroldis Chapman, the former closer, he went ahead and he signs with the Royals. Signed with Royals. Good for many years, Aroldis Chapman. Miguel Castro signed with the Diamondbacks. As well, so they lost those guys. What I think needed to happen did happen. Did they re-sign Judge? Yes. Did they re-sign Rizzo? Yes. Are they going to get Stanton back healthy? Yes. Did they get another great starter? Yes. This is a really good team. I think offensively they're not as good as people think. I think they're going to have those three guys I just mentioned really do it for them. If they can do it, they're good. But they have some holes there. They have some guys there like Mayhew and Aaron Hicks, and there's a lot of that stuff. But I mean, with this starting pitching from 1 to 5, I put Severino there, Garrett Cole there, Nestor Cortes. They're really good pitching. Aaron Boone, I don't like as a manager as much. I don't know how effective. I don't know. I maybe that's all wet or whatever. But I mean, I think almost anybody can coach this. We have this much talent. But I don't see a Joe Madden with him when I see him, or a Tony La Russa in something like that. I don't really see that. But there you go. So that's the East, the AL East. So definitely the Orioles are going to be competing with all those teams. We're going to have spring training start. So we're going to look at the Orioles one more time, obviously, and see how they stack up against the rest of the East and overview. Before the season starts, we are going to do an MLB predictions. We're going to go all the teams, 1 to 5, in each division, in all East divisions. We'll make our World Series predictions here on the channel. February 12th, we're going to open up our website on Sunday. If you're watching this before Sunday, we're going to go ahead and open up. It'll be completely live on Sunday, and we will go ahead and do that around 4 o'clock and get that squared away. A lot of our merchandise on the site, we'll be going over what the website address is. We're going to be going over all of that good stuff. All right. Thank you for watching. And if this was valuable to you, like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms where you can check out the Ravorisports podcast, the Baltimore Sports podcast. Thank you very much for watching. We will go ahead and see you on Super Bowl Sunday. Have a great day.